Yo guys, what's going on? It's Rose here, bringing you guys a brand new draft league. This is the Pokemon Heroes Federation. Season 1 of the league. It's ran by, I'm not sure of all of their names, but I know our good buddy Helix from the FBL is on the mod team, so shout outs to him. Also, Hawaiian Shaman, I think, is also on the mod team in here, so, shout outs to them. They're doing a really good job with this so far. We've had the ninth pick, and the draft actually finished in, like, less than 30 hours, which I think is the fastest draft I've ever been a part of. But yeah, so we had the ninth pick. It's a semi-S tier league. There's a lot of S tier-esque mons allowed, just with like certain restrictions and stuff like that. One of them was Naganadel, which we actually, as you can see, we have here. We took with the ninth pick, which we are not allowed to have Nasty Plot. That's usually the stipulation with it. I've never used Naganadel. I've always wanted to use Naganadel when you have a 121 speed and 127 special attack stat. It's a recipe for clicking specs buttons. So, but this thing, it can do a few different things. It can click U-turn, it can click T-specs if that is if that is something that we need it to do in that specific matchup. But normally it's going to be clicking some buttons. As you can see, its move pool is it's a pretty good move pool. It's one of those mons that was brought into us from Gen 7, and I'm actually really excited to use it. I named it Burple because that's one of the mons, or that's one of the dragons from How to Train a Dragon, which is a really cool movie series that turned into like a TV series on Netflix, and it's a whole thing. But really excited to use Burple, our Naganadel, really excited. And then on the back around, now mind you, while I was drafting, I was at work for most of this, so I was like half paying attention to 90% of what was going on. But I'm actually really excited for this. And with the background, we ended up taking Thomas, the Mega Gallade. Awesome, Thomas, really good friend of mine, Gentleman Thomas. He and I, we have some stuff in the works. It's fine, don't worry about it. But yeah, really, honestly. I've used this mod a couple times. The last time I used it, I think I got it to like 2nd or 3rd in kill leaders, a couple of years ago back in Gen 7 format, or either at the beginning, maybe it was the beginning of Gen 8 format, not sure. But 110 speed stat, 165 attack stat, 115 special defense stat. Like you can see, this mod has really good bulk. It's got really good offensive stats, and its move pool is amazing. Just because the whole Gardevoir and like Ralts tree has a really wide move pool for some reason. And as you see here, it's just got so many different things that it could do. It can be bulky, it can be offensive. It's got some very interesting utility potentials for it, and I'm actually really excited to use it. So welcome to Thomas, our Mega Gallade. Now, at the 3rd round, I took Rotom Wash. Obviously, Rotom Heat is my favorite Pokemon. I love Rotom Heat. It'll always be my favorite Pokemon, and it's the best Rotom form by far, in my opinion. But Rotom Wash I have not used in a very long time, and I was like, you know what, it's been a long time since I used it, I'm going to give it another shot. So the last time I used it, I don't even remember what, I think it was Gen 7 format probably. I don't think I used it in Gen 8 yet, so that's going to be really interesting. If you know Rotom Wash well, you know what it does. It clicks Volt Switch and Defog and Pain Split and all this other fun stuff. It has a very nice move pool. And I'm very excited to be able to take advantage of that. Its stats are amazing. I think it's the same stats as Rotom Heat, just the typing is a little bit different. This does give us our bulky water, which is awesome, and it's not weak to electric, which is really good. So definitely really excited to use Maytag, our Rotom Wash. Next up, we got Momo, our P2. If I've used P2, it's been a very long time. I'm not sure if I've ever really used it. So I'm really excited to use it this time. I think it pairs up really nicely. Sorry, I just hit the shit out of my cup. It pairs up really nicely with our offensive mons so far in Naganadel and Mega Gallade, just because this thing can take a hit and teleport out into either of those things, and then just allow it to, allow that mon to claim a kill. So, something that's, I mean, if you've been paying attention to the format, you know P2 is always very good. It has a very wide move pool. That's kind of a theme with a lot of our mons, is having a very wide move pool. Being able to do a lot of things very easily. and we can always have some fun with it. There is always room for memes, and I am the self-proclaimed meme king. Although, as I'm saying this, yesterday while we were drafting, I saw a replay where someone had brought into a league match speed swap Meteor Beam Power Herb Bronzong to basically beat the Libero Cinderace, and it worked and it swept. So that is the greatest set I've ever seen. I love it. It's great. So hats off to whoever brought that. That was a great set. But yeah, Momo the P2. If you know what Momo is from, you are a real one. Next up, we got Pontiac the Moltres. Moltres, honestly, it's a mod I've used a couple of times, but I am excited to bring it back again this time around. Its move pool isn't crazy wide, but its limited move pool does provide for some shenanigans. It has U-turn, it can defog, it can roost, it gets reliable recovery there, and it's, in my opinion, one of, like, honestly, Moltres and Zapdos are two of the best counters to Rillaboom, period. Just because they can hit it, they can check it defensively so well, and with Flame Body, we have that chance to burn it. And then with these offensive stats you see here, with 125 special attack stat, 90 speed, it hits very, very hard, so Specs Moltres is always a problem. But Boots is going to be something we're going to end up bringing at some point, just because Boots, when you're quad weak to rocks, is not something you want to deal with. But as you can see, our removal right now is not bad. We have Rotowash and Moltres as our removal, and it's only going to get better from there. Next up, I'm honestly really surprised I got this. Originally, I wanted something different, but I'm honestly really glad that this came to me. I'm not mad at this at all. This is a very, very good backup pick, and I'm really excited to use it. We got Manny the Mamoswine with Thick Fat. Mamoswine I've used a couple of times. Really, really good mon. It just clicks Banded Earthquakes and Icicle Crashes and Ice Shards and Knockoffs and all that fun stuff. And considering I don't think any person in this league drafted Bulu or Rillaboom, I think both of them went undrafted, so we don't have to worry about having to run high horsepower over Earthquake, which is awesome. But yeah, I mean, 130 base attack stat, 80 speed, really good mon. It does help us break down a lot of the slower mons easier. Stuff around that base like 60, 70 speed tier, and a lot of the bulkier mons, because this thing can run adamant on those things and just click buttons. Because a lot of bulky mons are weak to, or at least they get hit really hard by my dual stab, and we get coverage for the things that don't. So definitely something we're gonna be on the lookout for. Manny is gonna be really, really good this season. I'm really excited. Next up, we got Whimsicott. I have never drafted Whimsicott, not one fucking time. I've been doing drafting for 4 years. This is actually, by the time this year ends, I'd be doing it for 5 years. So, I've never drafted Whimsicott because I used to hate this Pokemon. Partially because one of my good buddies, Liam, as you can see by the name Liam's Bane, he hates this Pokemon with a burning passion. So, as an homage to him, we got Liam's Bane, and I'm actually kind of excited to use it. Its stats don't look that great, but when you understand that Prankster is its main ability that we're going to be running, I mean, it gets other abilities. It gets Infiltrator and Chlorophyll, which are both decent, but we're not going to really be using those because Prankster is amazing. Prankster Defrog, Prankster Tailwind, Prankster Leech Seed, Prankster, you know, it gets a ton of different stuff that it can just say, you know what? No, we're going first. I mean, Prankster Taunt is amazing in this format. And getting that fast U-turn as well, 116 speed, it gives us something right in between Naganadel and Gallade, which is awesome. So, like I said, its stats, not the greatest, but because of Prankster shenanigans, this thing is going to do a lot of work for us. I'm really excited to use it. Next up, we got Chestnut the Fortress, which I actually just used in SBF. It's a league that I think that was a league that I started before I started recording, so you guys won't know about that. But yeah, Fortress, really good mon. It's a very, very passive Pokemon. It's just a bulky Steel type that sets hazards and spins them off, and then Volt switches out. So like, it does a few things. It doesn't do a ton of things, but it does those things very well. As you can see, it gets 3 different types of hazards. It gets Stealth Rocks, Spikes, and T-Spikes, which is awesome. So I'm definitely excited to use that. like I said, I've used this thing a few times before, and I think when you're looking at the other mons that we drafted, because I think this pairs pretty nicely with Rotom Wash, just being able to take those hits from the grass types and then Volt Switch out and doesn't like Naganadel, is awesome. So I'm definitely really excited to use that. Next up, we got Osiris, the Kofagrigus, however you want to pronounce it, I don't really care. It's a bulky ghost type. I've used Kofag a few times. It's very, very good, very bulky. It can be a very good defensive threat, but it can also be an offensive threat because of, I believe, Iron Defense Calm Mind is a common set that it does run when it's built offensively. So that'll be interesting if we do end up running that. That is an option. But yeah, this thing, it sets up T-Spikes, it can haze away any stat boost, which is awesome. It gets knockoff, it gets Trick Room as well, which we have a couple of Trick Room setters now. I don't think we really have a ton to take advantage of Trick Room, but it is potential. There is potential for, there is potential for that. Will-O-Wisp is another thing that we have on here. This thing gets Mementos, same as the Whimsicott, Destiny Bond, Disable, all that kind of fun stuff. Really excited to use this mon. I haven't used it in a long time, but I am excited to use it again. Next up, I needed a fast dark type, so we are going with Plasma the Zoroark. One of my good buddies, Thomas, just used this in his WPF run in couple with either Mega Gallade or Naganadel or both. Because I know he's used these three mons within the last couple of seasons that he's done in WPF. I just don't know if they were all together or like split. But regardless, I need something right around that base 100 speed tier. And it's one of those mons where it's like, it's not going to be amazing for us. It may not come every week. It probably won't come every week, right? Or it won't come most weeks. But it's a mon that it just clicks, specs Dark Pulse, and U-turns out, does all that fun stuff. It can have some trick shenanigans, so there's always that potential. And we could even run like a physical Home Claws set potentially, but it gets pretty good coverage moves. So it's gonna be interesting. It was only 8 points, and it was, in my opinion, like one of the few dark types around that I like. It was either this, or I could have done like a bulkier team with Umbreon and moved some other stuff around. I just didn't want to do that. I wanted something that hits hard as like another special attack, like breaker almost, because I have Naganadel, which can kind of break if it's more of a cleaner, and so this kind of does that. It kind of does that as well, but it gives me something else, so that way I don't have to rely on Naganadel for special breaking. And I have Moltres as well, but Moltres more likely than not is going to be a bulky-ish mon, so yeah. We ended up having 1 point left, so because they had a limit where it was like you could spend 120 points drafting 10 to 11 Pokemon, and we went with the full 11 because this Zoroark right here was number 10, and we had 1 point left. So I was like, you know what? Let's just take something random that might come in handy every now and again, and we're gonna use Elisa the Emolga. It's gonna be usually static, might be Motor Drive every now and again, but base 103 speed, so a pretty decent fast U-turner. Its other stats are kind of lackluster, but from what I've been told, this is supposed to be a good Excadrill counter. I'm not sure where they get that from, but hey, I'm not gonna complain here. This thing's really just gonna be here for fast U-turns and defogs and setting up screens, maybe. That's about it. It's not gonna do anything crazy. It's not gonna come every week, but when it does come, it's gonna have a specific use. If it does come, it's gonna have a specific use, and that's gonna be interesting. So, but yeah, guys, what do you guys think of the team? Let me know down in the comments below. Also, check out my other socials on Twitch, Twitter, and join the Discord. I'll have all that linked in the description. Yeah, guys, I really do want to thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. It does mean a lot to me, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out.